Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes. Oh, I can.
Can you see and hear me?
Yes.
Thank you. Good evening, folks. So you haven't had the normal preamble from my partner in crime this evening because, as you may have noticed, we're a bit late, and for some reason, Crimson's computer pooter doesn't pick up on this happening straight away. It's got to have been there for a while for it to actually be noticed and stuff. And we've been a bit held up, haven't we? Because we've had some transport.
Yeah, my car is died. Well, its turbo's gone. I feel a bit like that tonight myself, but its turbo's gone.
So it's been in surgery all day, hasn't it? And you went to pick it up, and then another light came on, and you went, ooh.
Ooh, you can't say that.
No. So I had to drive up and get you and then bring you back. And then when we're done, I've got to take you back as well.
Yeah.
And then come back.
Obviously.
Yes. And oh my God, the M1, the rain. It was down to 30. The water was everywhere. The flooding. Oh, the flooding. Or some words like that.
There was a bit of water.
Yeah, I mean, it was moist. It was moist. Anything after the last few days of like searing heat, the intensity of a magma forge, then where it's like a glass of water looks like a tsunami. Any sign of it yet?
No.
No.
It doesn't like it when you do it this way. It just doesn't like it. I don't like it.
It likes it all to be set up and planned.
It does.
Yes. So, yes. So it's been a week. It's been a week. It's been warm.
Oh, it's been warm.
It's been warm.
It's been hot.
What's happened this last week then? So, usual subject, usual format, except we don't have a subject this evening, which is possibly problematic. I'm absolutely not going to Discord right now to look at, are there any questions in there? Oh, there are questions. There are questions. Brilliant. We can tap that for a load. So what's happened in the hobby world the last week? Well, I've been assembling the secret project. So I can't really tell you much about the secret project because the clue's in the name. Can't really tell. Whilst that's all good stuff that's going on, doesn't help this process. So I've been doing that. Friday, I played Tiny Planes with the Claw. That was great fun. Shooting stuff down. Yeah. So there's a Tiny Planes bat rep coming. Part 3 of Ryan's World. Mr. the Machine. Why, thank you, sir. I mean, I'm going off brand tonight. It's maybe 7-Up Free will sold as part of a multi-pack will give me a sponsorship deal. Who makes this? Is it Coca-Cola? Britvic. Maybe I can get a sponsorship deal from Britvic. Yes. Yes. So Mick suggested Coke sponsorship. PF3 shameless plug. So, yeah, Paul Fest 3 in October. A reason for channel members to get together and throw some dice in tabletop events in Belper, which will be awesome. We've done it before. It was awesome. I have every reason to believe it will be awesome again. It'll be awesome. So, thank you. You see, the thing is, I have to have lots of non-caffeinated, sugar-free, carbonated beverages to keep me hydrated in weather like this. And the caffeine-free Diet Coke, it's I do like a bit of variety sometimes, so I've taken to getting a bit of variety. And this evening, there wasn't any caffeine-free Coke in the fridge, and that is cold. They are not. So I thought I would have one of these. Yes, I remember an interesting conversation when a good friend of mine, Storm Shroud, who's the other half of Fast Panda Gaming, when he, for health reasons, gave up caffeine. When he gave up caffeine for health reasons, and I remember there were a few of us sat in his living room, and someone else who'd also occasionally been on the caffeine free. We were talking, and he was saying, "Oh, the caffeine free Coke's nice. It's close enough." And that was when I started thinking maybe I'll have caffeine free in the evenings. And so this other chap who wasn't the smartest tool in the box said, "Yeah, it is. It's nearly like Diet Coke, but it's missing something." We were like, "Yeah, the caffeine." So, so yeah, Tiny Planes were played, and Rens World was, well, the next episode of Rens World was done. We worked out it had been about 12 months since we filmed the previous episode, because it's crazy times. It's crazy times. With Fast Panda absolutely taking off, and with so much stuff going on my channel, we just not managed to link up. But we're not going to leave it as long next time. But at least we have a number of source books to work through to to play through. So yeah, that was good. That was good. On Saturday, I played a game against the man, the myth, the legend, the one and only Winters, which was great. So yeah, he came up on Saturday, and we played a game of Warhammer 40,000. Yes. Super chat from Sam Nash. How did the game with Winters go? Perfect timing. The game with Winters was a lot of fun. Games with Winters are always a lot of fun. He's a great laugh to play against. You get a lot of off mic chat that you just can't broadcast. So you don't tend to see it on battle reports, because a lot of the time the man is unbroadcastable, as am I when the camera's not turned on. Yeah, we've done a lot of things together, so it's good fun. We played Tempest of War, which is, as some of you will know, a match play variant. Not my usual cup of tea, but sufficiently, whilst it does have a match play framework to it, there are sufficiently narrative elements to it for it to go well. So Winters played Necrons. I played a different army. And yeah, that'll go up in a few weeks, I think. Yeah, a few weeks. It was good. It was good. It was fun. It was, it ebbed and it flowed, which I thought was nice. Ed and Eddie, member for 18 months, using his membership chat. Hey, Paul, how are you? Hope you and Crimson are doing well. How are you finding the new Traitor Legion Codex? Well, I've played it once, but it was easy to use. I didn't have to reference and cross-reference so many of the pages to get the information I needed. I basically had to get the generic army stuff and the trait for it was Iron Warriors I was playing a few weeks ago. I think it's up on the channel. I think it's in public. I was playing against Wolf Corgi's Necrons. Playing a lot of Necrons at the moment. I like Necrons. They're good fun. It was simple, straightforward, and intuitive. And there weren't so many stratagems I was bamboozled. And there weren't the stratagems that you just felt you had to play again and again and again and again and again and again and again. Because like the old Chaos Codex, it was like Veterans of the Long War, Demon Forge, pretty much nothing else. So yeah, it was good. It's good, and I'm finding that all the legions look pretty playable with it, which is also nice. Which is also super nice. So yeah, enjoying that. So yeah, had a game with Winters. That was good fun. And whilst he was here, my partner in crime, Crimson, did an interview with him.
I did. It was lovely. I asked him the questions from the Discord, so thank you to everybody that put questions in there, and they're all on there for everybody to see, all on the clip.
So yeah, that's we've got that's ready to go. That's
ready to go.
It's going to drop at some point. At some point, it's ready to go. It's ready to go. Oh, we have.
It was so lovely. It was so lovely, and he said, I asked him. I think it was Kev, Cadfell, that said, how do you get a game with Winters? How does he choose who he plays? So I said, would you play me? And he said yes. And then I thought, oh, I don't think I should have asked that. So he's coming up to play a game, isn't he?
Yeah.
So it's a game of AOS.
No, we should have played.
No, he said, I'll play his and he'll play mine. That's the bit that's gone from the thing.
Okay.
Yeah, no, he did. He said he'd do it. He said I would probably win the AOS one, but I don't believe that at all. But yeah, so he was he was very kind.
So we have to get that in the diary. We have to do shenanigans there.
Yeah.
A super chat from Sam Nash. So when is Crimson Ribbon 2? Had a really good time at the last one. Oh, I'm very glad you had a really good time.
Yeah.
I'm glad it was a success. A few teething troubles, a few things I'd do a bit differently next time. The honest answer is I really enjoyed doing it, and I loved that people loved it. It took an awful lot out of me. And right now I had quite, my mental health's been not great over the first 6 months of this year, and I'm starting to pick up again. I've now got, I think I've mentioned this previously, I've now got a mild spot of depression to go along with my anxiety, and I'm on the up, and I don't want to put too much pressure on myself at the minute. So there is no specific plan at this point. That said, within 24 hours of coming back to the Crimson Ribbon, I had the plot of the next one and all the participants all sorted out, and we've talked about logos and merch and all sorts. It's
we've
just
talked about ongoing logos of Crimson Ribbon in different things.
Well, it wouldn't be called the Crimson Ribbon. It wouldn't be Crimson Ribbon 2. It would be the thing that we talked about that may or may not ever happen.
Yeah.
So it's tough because I'd really love to do more, but it's I can't push myself yet. So there's not one planned at the moment.
But we'd love to do another because it was so much fun.
Do you know something?
It was so much fun. Maybe we should both have a week off, plan it, and then do it, and then another week off to recover.
Well, one thing I have learned, I think, from that is that next time I am between contracts, which my current contract's just been renewed until February. It may carry on after then, I don't know. But I had a period last year where I was between contracts for 4 or 5 months, and I probably could in a week. You know, that's not a bad suggestion. Put a week aside when I'm off anyway,
Yeah.
and bash out a campaign.
Yeah.
We could even do 2 or 3 and have them sort of packaged and ready to go. That way, the effort on my brain is already dealt with, and we can schedule them in and so on. But I know the way I am at the minute, it'll if we were to book something in for 6, 8, 9 months time, it'd be constantly on my mind that I haven't done the prep for it, and then it'll take up all of my time in the sort of all my free time in the few weeks before it.
But we are planning another one next, sort of early next year, aren't we? We said we'd look at another one.
Well, this is the thing. It's whether or not. It's whether we go with something then, or we do something later, or it's the old the flesh is willing but the spirit is weak.
It's chicken and egg, isn't it?
Because
if you plan it in and you put a date in, then you stress up to that time. But if you don't put a date in, and it just goes and goes and goes. So, but yeah.
But the other thing that makes it tricky with booking in another Crimson Ribbon is I think, and I don't know, but I think 10th Ed's going to drop next year. And scheduling an event around that sort of time, I don't think it's a great idea, because any work I've done to prep it may be undone by the changes. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
But we will do another one. Just don't know.
I could happily do one of those. You know, I could do half a dozen a year if I didn't have other things I had to do in my time. I could happily do that. Do lots of those because I really enjoyed doing it. But I don't know. You can't live off it. Yeah. So one thing I have noticed recently is we haven't had a lot of people on the Discord looking for fire extinguishers. We've had a number of battle reports, but there hasn't been there hasn't been a sort of have you found it? Where is it? So I don't know what's going on. Maybe people are super busy, but there's just not been the fire extinguisher madness that I've seen in previous videos. I noticed the other day that Squawk still has the fire extinguisher red on his name, and I thought, so, because Kev hasn't seen it. Gotcha. Well, one thing I will say, because we're coming into the 3rd episode of the Thondia campaign this week, is that the fire extinguisher is on every table in the Thondia campaign. It's there. It's there on all of them. Although I did forget to put it on the table with Winters. So sorry, but it's been on every other game. Every other one. Because I was all set to say it's been on every table, including the AOS ones. Except I forgot to put it on the one I just did with Winters. So... Paul Gray, are you heading to the Deployment Zone TV, the Deployment Zone television open day this bank holiday weekend? I am not, I'm afraid. No, can't squeeze it in. So not doing it. Yeah, Kevin, not been looking at AOS. It's been there. Just that gives you an entire raft of videos you can relic hunt in now. I just thought I'd chuck it in there, you know.
Discord questions.
Second?
Discord questions.
Discord questions. Yes, good. Oh, are you going to feed them to me, or should I read them off the thing?
Okay. I've got some from this feed as well, so yeah.
Okay. So, Wolf Corgi asked, if Man O' War makes a comeback, will you play it? Also, will that lead to Hot Tub Man of War? Well, if they do bring Man of War back, I doubt the boats would actually float. So, probably not in the hot tub. I remember when I first started at 40k, I remember there were, I'm trying to think now. There were 5 games in the GW I went to. There was 40k, there was Fantasy Battle, there was Epic, there was Titanicus, there was Titan Legions, and there was Man of War. And Man of War looked interesting, and I'd always had it in my mind that I was going to play all of the games, just work my way through them. I started on 40k, then went to Fantasy Battle. Then I had the alcohol and, let's call it, socializing break that everyone goes through. And when I came back, Epic was dead, Man of War was dead. Although they released a one-off boxed game in the 2000s called... what was the thing called? It was from my perspective, it was a gargantuan flop. Dreadfleet. Thank you, Mr. March. They introduced a game called Dreadfleet, which was a one-off, and it was around the time Space Hulk, when they reprinted Space Hulk, it absolutely flew off the shelves. You couldn't get hold of it for love nor money. And they went, oh, yes, these box games, we'll do another one. Here's Dreadfleet. And we all looked at it and went, what? It's not a game. It's a one-off thing, and you can't. It's not Man of War. We all thought you were bringing Man of War back, and so there were lots of. At least that's what it was within my group, and so we were like, no. So yeah, I would love to see Man of War come back. It's just another aspect of the hobby. It's another aspect of the game world, especially an AOS version of Man of War, because with which book was it in? I think it was the Silver Shard. It's a really good AOS. Well, they're all really good, to be honest. I haven't found a bad one yet, except for maybe that one. But I wouldn't want to besmirch it in front of its cousins. The Silver Shard, the privateer fleet was the Corsairs featured in it. The what used to be called Black Ark Corsairs, which are now called something different. I must say, Kevin, I must clarify. It's I haven't done it from the very start with the AOS videos. You might want to work backwards rather than starting at the front, because the first year's worth I didn't do. 9 months worth I didn't do. So I wouldn't want you to be looking through all the early ones, looking for a fire extinguisher, because they aren't on all the old ones. But certainly recently they're there. Yeah, there was a lot of navy. There was a lot of seafaring stuff and taking on giant monsters, and there was a Khorne blood fleet in it, and there was lots of ship-to-ship stuff, and I really liked that, and I thought that'd be a really nice part of the game to have a simple a simple game, not something not dissimilar to Aeronautica Imperialis. Nothing terribly complex. A couple of boats per faction, but that could be a lot of fun. It's all about fleshing the game world out. That's why I really would like to see Battlefleet Gothic back, because that's a massive part of the 40k game world that just is it's just not represented at all, which is a shame. It is a big shame. Crying shame. A big crying shame. A crying big shame. Arrange the words big and shame and crying in... Well, there's only 6 permutations, isn't there? So they probably all work. I digress. So Hamelot asked, do you reckon Chaos Dwarves would ever make some form of reappearance in AOS or Fantasy when it gets rebooted? And would you play them? Well, let me tell you, sir. I had a Chaos Dwarf army, and I absolutely loved it. They were my absolute favourite faction, and I had just started collecting them when they got killed off. And when I was on my uppers, probably about 10 years ago, I had to sell them all. I had all the blunderbusses and the Bull Centaurs and the Lamassu and the Great Taurus and the Rockets and the Hobgoblins and the Sneaky Gits and all of them. I had the lot. And if they ever brought Chaos Dwarves back, I would be selling a lung to get a Chaos Dwarf army. A metaphorical lung.
Don't look at me. I'm not selling a lung.
That's good.
What? No. I only work here. I'm not selling a lung. It's not in my job description.
Your job description is spare parts.
Yeah, but not my own personal ones. Get lost.
God.
Look at me like that. I'm not selling a lung. Not.
No commitment. None. Do I think they would ever come back in AOS? Well, 4 or 5 weeks ago, I said no. But I recently unboxed the Heart of Gur Warcry box set, and one of the forces are the disciples of Hashut. And Hashut is the Chaos Dwarf god. And there's lots of sort of bull motifs, and it's all very dark, forgy. And then I thought, well, how would you put Chaos Dwarves back in? And I'm like, okay, well, Black Library could reintroduce them, no problem. But you could have... They could easily just bolt them on as a Chaos faction. It's like, okay, what Grand Alliance would they go in? It's like, Destruction? No. Order? No. It's like, yeah, okay. Chaos Dwarves. They obviously wouldn't be called Chaos Dwarves anymore because that's a bit Route 1. But yeah, I could totally see them doing that, and I would play the absolute stuff out of them. I so would. Poor Gray, remember 15 months. Damn, I asked about the Chaos Dwarves and it's breaking my heart. That's a harrowing tale. It is what it is. I don't regret it because it was the right thing to do at the time. But it's a shame. And if I still had the models, I still wouldn't be prioritizing them over other models because they wouldn't see the table. So it's what it is. Is what it is. But the prospect of the what are they called? The Bull Centaurs? The Bull Centaurs coming back, and a Lamassu, and an Astrogoth on his piston engine because his feet had turned to stone. The prospect of that. Oh yes. We live in hope. And GW like to print money, so you never know. Squats are coming back. Wherever they get wherever they get, I imagine they've got a sort of list of things that will really run big, and I think that's one of them. Because the other thing with AOS is you've got factions in there that really don't have many units. So I was looking at a couple of factions a little while ago. Like the Flesh Eater Courts have only got about 3 units fundamentally, variants and kits. The Fire Slayers aren't so different. The Caradron are a little better, but not much. There are a number in there that have got a pretty small number of kits. So why not? You could do a Great Taurus Lamassu kit, which could either be a sorcerer or a lord. Sorry, a Lamassu or a Great Taurus kit, sorcerer or lord. You could do the warriors that could either have the blunderbusses or axe and shield, sword and board. A centaur kit with a couple of weapon options. There you go. That's the basis for it. You wouldn't need to, because they used to use a lot of orcs and goblins and hobgoblins and black orcs before black orcs were phased out, because they were slavers. There's no reason they couldn't just use hobgrots, because that's basically what they are. It's like, okay, they take hobgrots, dink, hobgrots. So wouldn't take that much to do, I don't think.
Did you spot that membership from Moog?
I've seen it. I'm coming to it in a moment.
Okay.
And that moment is now. Moog's Little Figures, member for 22 months. All massive hats and weird Babylonian stylings again. Or would you want Chaos Dwarves reimagined? Yeah, massive hats, weird twisted beards. I'd obviously better sculpts, but I'd want to see something that had a good nod to the original. I imagine it would be something like the Cult of Hashut, so it wouldn't necessarily just be Chaos Dwarves. They might have the sort of human disciples in there to link in with the warband they've just introduced. Squark asked, would you play Kill Team, or would another game system be too much for the brain? At the moment, another game system is too much for the brain, but there are a few things I'm considering. So there are a couple of old friends who I don't have a shared game system with at the moment. I am contemplating seeing if we can learn between us a new game. That's maybe a thing. Super chat from Immortan Joe. More AOS factions, never a bad thing. So more, please. Well, I can't make it happen. So I mean, the super chat is appreciated, but the magic wand is missing. But I love the sentiment. More factions, please. GW, if you are watching, more AOS factions. Chaos Dwarves, 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 Chaos Dwarves. I don't know what else I'd add to AOS. Probably loads. I wonder what the last thing added to AOS was. Was it the Ideneth? I think it was the Ideneth. Yeah, I've gone off on one now. Thirsty. So I'm toying with the idea of trying to get a game system to play with some old friends. Whether they end up being filmed or not, I don't know. The other notion I have is, and it's really just an ideas. Oh, hello, Lemmy. It's just in the ideas phase at the minute. But what worked very well with Thondia was getting a group of people together for a concentrated period of time to blast through filming stuff. So, for instance, and I'm just throwing stuff around. If I were to get I don't know, a few people together to play Kill Team and do half a dozen missions over the course of a day or so, do a little story for them. That might be a thing. That might be easier filming other people play than setting up my own campaign and having to collect my own force and that side of things. But I am simply random idea generation stage at this point. And the next question on the Discordia is more of a statement, really. Warcry Bat Reps, kind of a question. Seems like narrative gold to me. That might be a way of doing some Warcry. I don't know. I am thinking. I'm thinking about stuff. So then Bella Bramble asks, at the risk of sounding stupid, how do you find the live stream?
We saw it. I've got some questions when you're ready.
Okay. Well, I was just going to say the way you find the live stream is, but then I realized that anyone watching this has found the live stream, so a touch redundant. No flies on me. You said you had questions. Should I finish the ones in Discord? There's only a couple more. Should I or not? Okay. Cadfile Relic Hunter asks, what is some of your favorite music? My musical tastes have changed over the years, or they're eclectic, and it's because I've liked different things at different times. What tends to happen is I tend to listen to something to death, and then it's got particular associations of particular memories, and then I don't always want to listen to things. Like, for example, a lot of songs I used to associate with live role playing, I sort of had a song in my head for every one of my characters, and sometimes when I hear those songs now, it makes me feel very nostalgic for those days, which sometimes can lead to melancholy. So some music.
You like Beyonce, don't you?
Do you have a mirror in front of you? Because you can't be talking to me.
Of course. You listen to it. It's always on your playlist.
Well, it often gets suggested, but that's because you tell Spotify to play it.
Is that why?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were a fan.
No.
I saw you dancing to it, you see, and I thought...
I don't. Hey, I like what I like, and I will happily listen to what I like, and I will feel no shame or embarrassment. 20 years ago I would have done, but not now. And if I want to dance to something, and it happens to be Beyonce or whatever, I will. And I care not for other people's opinions on the subject.
Yeah.
So when I was very early teens, I used to listen to how far back do I go? Growing up, I used to obviously listen to a lot of my parents' music. So my dad had a lot of sort of Eric Clapton, Pink Floyd, Dire Straits, that sort of stuff. My mum was more sort of Steel Eye Span, ABBA, other things. So I've got a soft spot for all of those, and a lot of those will feature on my playlists. So if you look in my liked songs on Spotify, you'll see a bunch of that. I started to get into prog rock when I was 15, 16. Got really into a band called Yes and things like The Doors and Curved Air, that then sort of led on to Deep Purple, Black Sabbath, that sort of stuff. At uni, there was at school, there was a lot of the sort of 90s Brit indie. So I say a lot of like Garbage, Ash, stuff like that from that era. Uni, I really got into my my heavy metal and my goth rock. So a lot of Nine Inch Nails, Rob Zombie. But where I was at uni, it was a very, very, very small campus. So you tended to have one alternate night, and they tended to sort of play one song that would keep everyone happy. So, so I also got a lot of at the time, a lot of things like Sepultura, Fear Factory. The only ones I really couldn't get on with, I love Sisters of Mercy. The one I really couldn't get on with was Cradle of Filth. I just couldn't bear to listen to Cradle. Then you've got stuff like System of a Down and other things into the early 2000s. Soil, love a bit of Soil. There's loads. I could just read a playlist of all sorts. But over the last sort of 10 years or so, as I've used up as I've expanded into the vast majority of metal that I like listening to, and and they've stopped making stuff I like by and large. Recently, I've got a bit of a penchant for electro swing. It was you first introduced me to Caravan Palace, who are very, very good. And the nice thing about Spotify is like, show me more like this, and then getting all sorts of, oh yeah, this is really good, and Swing Revolution and Jazzatron and all sorts of stuff like that I really like. But more recently, as I've been a bit more into the use of Instagram, and when I hear a song, I go, what is that? I like it, and I will add it to my playlists. So, for example, I've got all sorts of stuff. I've got Mexican pop, Mongolian metal, Russian punk, French jazz. The list's longer than that. Korean pop, all sorts really. So my tastes are much more eclectic now. The thing for me is it's got to have a good rhythm and a good beat, and I can't stand drony stuff. That's why of bands people might expect me to like, I can't stand things like Muse and stuff like that, where it's just thinking about it. No, if I like it, I'll add it to my playlist and I'll dance around the house to it, and that really tests the foundations and the floor joists, I can tell you. And my poor knees. I'm probably forgetting lots of stuff, but there's half a dozen more in there now. Maybe I'll save some of those for later. You said there's questions and things.
There are. So Donald says, Paul, I just started building and painting Stomper. Any advice?
Subassembly. So my Stomper, which was a Christmas present from someone sat not a million miles away from me right now. I did the arms separate, most of the gun pieces separate, and there are plates that you can attach to the front of it. I did those separate as well, and then sprayed each one the predominant color. The thing with orc stuff that I paint is I like it to be battered and scratched, which means you could, which means you can do a lot of shades and stipples and dry brushes and things. Sub-assemblies and base coating the bits in the main colors you want to use is my advice.
And he also asks, what was the most challenging kit you ever built and painted?
The kit that sticks in my mind as making me want to rage smash it was the original Dark Eldar Ravager. You can open it, it's fine.
I've done it. I've had it, yeah, I've done
it. Because it's a fragile plastic frame with two very, very, very thick and heavy metal plates to attach to the sides on the tiniest of tiny touch points. And the joins are so tiny you can't hold the damn thing in place without it gluing to your fingers. And it wasn't wide enough to put a pin through. And yeah, it was horrific. Once it actually stuck in place, I think it was an entire tube of super glue just everywhere around it, so it would never, ever, 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 ever break. Painting wise, I used to have a real problem painting Tau because the Tau kits do not lend themselves well to a base coat and then a shade and then a dry brush because of all the inlays. That said, I've done a bunch of Tau relatively recently and I really enjoyed them, although they were very time consuming. So that has changed over the years. Yeah, but I remember they stick in my mind as being the most difficult at a given point in time. Next, please.
Sorcerer Dave, wasn't there a Chaos Dwarf inspired AOS faction that was a Forge World exclusive, or am I misremembering that?
I don't think you're misremembering that. I think that was in Fantasy Battle days. I don't think that was in AOS days. I think that was before the Cull. Servants of Azeroth or something like that. They didn't quite hit the. I don't know why. It's probably because it was a Forge World option. I don't know why. It's probably because in the back of my mind I can see the pound signs next to everything when I go, oh yeah, I'll have a unit of 30th. Oh no, I won't. I think I will paint almost anything else.
Gordon, would you like a question from Gordon?
Why not?
I used to have.
No, I want you to tell me why I wouldn't.
Oh, I have no idea.
Okay, fair enough.
Well, you just it'd be rude.
Yeah, that is a very good reason. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, hit me.
Really, I used to have an orc and Gobbo armor.
Goblin.
Armor. Am I saying that right?
Gobbo.
All right. Okay.
As in abbreviation for goblin.
All right.
Gobbo.
Okay. Gobbo armor from WF First Edition, and sold it years ago when I didn't think I would get back to it. A goblin army.
Goblins, yeah. I remember they were probably it was probably sort of third or fourth at the time I was doing them, with Crom the Paunch on his chariot and big things of goblins with horrifically low leaderships. One of them died and they all ran away, the whole army, give or take.
Mick says, Mick the Machine, Hero Quest could be a good game to play with old friends.
Yes, Hero Quest, that kind of thing, dungeon crawl stuff. You tend to need more people for that, though. We were trying to think of a sort of one-on-one type thing, but yeah, maybe.
Moog volunteered straight after. That's it.
Oh, that's it.
Do you want me to do the Discord ones? Oh, you've got it up there.
I do indeed. Aaron582 says, I'd say it's a good time to plan an event with the later half of the year after 10th drops to give people time to adjust when work hours start to lower so people are more likely to attend. This is true. The Sangwheel asks, who is Cypher in your opinion? I thought he was Cypher. I'll be honest, I don't know enough about the Cypher backstory to be able to comment, I'm afraid. Ed, and Eddie, do you plan on doing another War of the 10 Legions type campaign on the channel? I would like to finish the War of the 10 Legions. I've got another 7 rounds to go. How quickly I get through that, I honestly couldn't say. I do like the idea of every legion playing every other legion. So I need to work out at how I do a bit more 40k again, because the 2 games I've had I enjoyed, and I used armies that weren't constructed to require a lobotomization in order to understand it. I think possibly the way I can enjoy playing 40k is to avoid certain armies until they get redone and hopefully unscrewed up. So yeah, I intend to do more of that. Hill 42 asked on that, as the Chaos Spaceman Codex is out, return to the war? ? Yes, I have a game coming up with Gambit soon, and we're either, depending on how his painting goes, so if you're watching this, Gambit, it's on you, we're either going to do his Death Guard versus one of the other Chaos Legions, and that will be one of the episodes in round 3 of War of the 10 Legions, or we're going to do his Death Guard probably versus Night Lords. Not Death Guard. What's the other one? Dark Angels. I'm thinking Deathwing because I know he's painting his Deathwing Knights. Thoughts on how you do Fallen Angels as the Fallen unit is no longer in the Codex? I think I would use the Dark Angels Codex, in all honesty. With Cypher bolted in. Not sure. I'd have to have a look at it. But that was my initial thought, because I had been planning on just putting the Fallen Angels in the members' lounge and messing about with some rules to give them a bit of a better army. Don't know. I'd need to think about that. One. And that's all the questions in Discord.
I think Nick's just put a comment on
Oh yes. So this just come up a lot. If you don't like something written in the book, change it with house rules. It messes with me to do that. I need to play the game as close to the official rules as I can. And it's one thing to have a couple of generic house rules that unbreak the core game mechanic that I can apply in every game, so regular viewers know what they are every time. But if I go down the rabbit hole of this is, I don't like this thing in this codex, so I'm changing, or this thing in that codex, it's going to be unwatchable to all but the most regular viewers, because people aren't going to know what they're seeing at any point in time. So, yeah, that's a non-starter for me. I need to find a way to play a particular codex, or I shelve it for the edition. I've got a number of armies that I've put on ice between editions because they break the way it plays. And that's just what I need to do a bit more, I think. Any more?
No more.
In which case, then, I think we should gently come to gently apply the brake and let it reach a gentle stop. Thank yous.
Thank yous.
First, thank you, Crimson, for organising my brain and the live stream.
Mick the Machine, Super Chats, Mick the Machine, Sam Nash, Paul Gray, Emotion Joe, thank you very much.
Thank you all.
And a few people use their membership chats. So Ed and Eddie 18 months. Wow. Paul Gray, 15 months. And the lovely Moog, 22 months.
22 months. That's a heck of a pregnancy.
Yeah.
22 months.
Thanks, Mick.
Could be like
Thanks from Mick. Oh, we forgot to say as well, we did have a lovely day out, a lovely morning out at Warhammer World on Sunday, which was really nice, actually, very relaxed. We had a lovely breakfast in Bugman's, and then had a wander around the museum with Mick the Machine and Mrs. Mick the Machine, who is lovely. So I just wanted to say to her, she's moving house, so good luck with the move. Let us know when you're having your housewarming, and we will be there. And we talked about Crazy Hats. Is Crazy Hats still happening at Paul Fest, Mick? I think it is, isn't it?
I'm the wrong person to ask about
I'm
that.
asking Mick.
All right.
Yeah, I'm sure it is Crazy Hats. Oh, she's very welcome. She's a lovely lady and fantastic at painting too. So, yes, it's Crazy Hats for Paul Fest 3. I just had to check with Mick. And just wanted to mention as well, we've got, Crazy Hats are a thing. I'm just double checking. So we have a pet pics room in Discord, and I'm sure everybody will have seen it. But there's some lovely pets on there, dogs, cats. I've only seen dogs and cats. So if you've got anything a little obscure, alligators, that kind of thing, put them on there as well. But I wanted to say,
I have a pet block of post-its.
Do you? Yeah. That's lovely. Would you like to show it now?
It's called Gerald.
It's gorgeous. It's pink. But a really, really heartwarming story. Kevin Cadfael put a picture of his new dog to be called Donny, which he rescued from a particularly nasty situation. And he put a picture on there for all to see. And Donny is gorgeous. And I think he picks him up in 2 weeks. So welcome Donny onto Pet Pics. But Kevin, that's such a lovely thing to do. So, yeah. Oh, Kevin. Alligator. Yeah, put that on there, please. If you've got a pet alligator, get it on. And that's it from me.
Okie dokie. Well, thank you for thank yous.
Thank you.
Thanks everyone for joining us tonight. Thank you as ever to all my supporters, channel members, Patreons. Your ongoing support is amazing. And until next time, take care, and we will see you in the next one. Say bye, Crimson.
Bye, Crimson.
Bye.
Bye.